Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the RapChat podcast. Before we get into the podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and to subscribe if you want. I'm not going to force you to do anything, though.
Or will we?
Well, I won't. Sam might. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or wherever else you like to listen to podcasts, make sure to leave a rating and a review, good or bad, whatever your opinion is. Before anything else,
What else?
social media.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have them all. Well, not them all. We don't have like Facebook and stuff, but we do have Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. They are all at RapChat Podcast, and that's where we post new clips of the show weekly. I'm your host, Elias Eldridge.
And I'm Sam Kenny.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, we've got our Game 2 reaction podcast.
Yes.
Doing this the next morning so we don't... we're not too emotional about
we're
it.
too reactive, and
Not a lot of good things to talk about. Not gonna lie. It's a lot of the same from game 1.
we were very upset after the game yesterday. I guess let's dive in. What's something you saw what's the biggest thing you saw that you didn't like?
All right, the biggest thing that I saw that I did not like was our defense for the second game in a row. It was better than game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Not much better, just because game 1 was so awful. Like the Sixers, like especially that first half, the Sixers 32 points in the first, 35 in the second, and then even they had 28 in the third. It was just that fourth quarter where the Raptors kind of went on a run.
Honestly,
that really hurt them.
The fourth quarter just made us look better, but it's still just really bad.
It made the score look a lot closer than the game really was.
Yeah, we did not lose by 15. We lost by 25.
Yeah, and the defense, it was once again unable to keep Tyrese Maxey out front. The only guy who offered a little bit of resistance to Maxey was Malachi Flynn, and even that was for a couple of possessions.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, Fred is just not fast enough or quick enough to keep him in front. Gary Trent Jr. just isn't even close to keeping him in front.
No, it's an instant blow by every time. There's not a single play where he stopped Tyrese Maxey's blow bys.
No, not at all. It's whenever Tyrese, whether it's on attacking already the rotating defense, or if it's just him just initiating and attacking, he was getting there every single time.
And credit to Tyrese Maxey, because you could just say, Fred should play back on him. Well, he's a 43% 3-point shooter.
Yeah,
so
he was
he can't.
3 for 6 from 3 in this one.
Yeah, and the whole thing's tough because once he blows by, then whoever's guarding Embiid has to come help. Then you step up to Embiid, then Embiid's getting fouled every time you touch him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also we couldn't guard Joel at all in this one. He was just. This was a worry coming into the series, right? Was Joel was going to be a little bit too big, and the Raptors, the counter to that was the Raptors were going to send just tons of bodies at him.
Which it did work for a time. There was a bit where every time we got the ball, we double teamed. Malachi was coming in double teaming a lot, which I thought worked better than not double teaming him. I was with it.
You have to.
But still, they were shooting lights out again this game. I think the first half they shot 66% from 3.
They shot 46 for the game.
Yeah,
and that's
just them making their shots.
And that's how they beat that double team, right? Is their role players are all hitting shots.
Yeah.
And when you have Shake Milton, Matisse, Thibault, Niang, Danny Green, all those guys are all hitting threes. Tobias Harris had a really good game. Then that's what you're giving up when you're doubling Embiid, and that's how you're gonna lose.
I think we jinxed the whole Tobias Harris thing before in our couple of ago before the playoffs. We were like, he'll have one good game, the rest would be 12-pointers on 44 for 13 shooting.
Ultra efficient 20-point night, 10 boards
for 2 games in a row. Does not look good.
23.
It's really hard for us to play defense on Embiid though, because I don't want to talk too much about reffing. But it was a thing in this game.
It was
that was an actual topic in this game that needs to be discussed. The reffing was absolutely atrocious.
Yep.
And it was very one-sided. It seemed like they had money on the game. That's how bad it was. For context, Embiid shot the same amount of free throws in the first quarter that we shot all game. We shot 12 all game, and he shot 12 in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's bad. And I wouldn't mind the calls if they just keep it consistent. Or I wouldn't mind the no calls against the Raptors if the
there's
Raptors
no calls. Exactly. We're on one end we see Pascal get hacked by 3 guys trying to be all aggressive, and he's trying to draw a foul. Yeah. And there was a play, I think it was in a fast break. I forget who it was.
It's Harden against Precious.
It was Precious, yeah. And then Harden actually tried to foul him.
Yeah.
And they didn't call it.
Yeah.
And then right after that on the other end, again, I forget who it was, but we got a foul called on us, and it was just a light foul.
Yeah.
And it's just call it both ways. I will not be upset if you just call it both ways, but it's not being called both ways.
No. And
it's frustrating.
And I just like I watch like that Brooklyn Boston game where guys are being so physical and they're like that's what the playoffs are usually. That's what the whistle usually is, right? And you just want to see that consistency. Like that's all you ask for because it's the Raptors are already at a disadvantage guarding the Sixers, and if you're in foul trouble while doing it, then it's gonna be even harder.
And we're at even more disadvantage now because all our guys are hurt.
Yeah.
3 of our key players are.
Yeah.
Scotty's out, and he's probably gonna be out all series. Realistically, I don't think we're gonna.
Well, if they lose next game, there's no way he comes back.
No. And you just don't want to risk getting him even more hurt. And then we got Thad Young out with a sprained thumb on his shooting hand.
He just was not effective last game.
No, he had a nice hook shot though.
Yeah.
It was like the
minus 11 in 8 minutes.
12-foot hook shot.
Minus 11 in 8 minutes. It's
and
tough.
and then obviously Gary Trent Jr. is out with a sickness. He looked
awful. He looked really.
He looked really out of it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna blame him for it. He tried to play through it, which I respect. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah, only played 9 minutes. Wow.
4 fouls.
Yeah, he was just a step slow. You could tell he's got it pretty bad.
Yeah.
The other end, offensively, some really good stretches. Like that first quarter was really good.
The first and fourth quarter were good. It was the second and third quarter that killed us. We only had 38 points.
And I think
in those 2 quarters combined.
I think what we saw is Pascal and Fred just get worn down as the game went on.
The whole second half, both of them were just out.
They were exhausted, and it was like Pascal had 6 points in the second half. Fred only had 3, and OG was the only one that OG and Chris were really literally the only 2 other guys. Oh no, Ken Burge had 5 points.
Hey. And a big 3.
Yeah, those 2 dudes just got worn down, and I think that's kind of what you miss with having Scotty and Gary, right? Where they can take a lot of that or some of that creation burden away from them. And you're also getting those guys being integral defensive parts, right? And you're not trying to make excuses for them, but it's kind of how it is. Like, there's just not a lot of depth on this team, and then we're out 3 guys. There are 2 legit creators. OG's kind of like a tertiary creator, but like, yeah, I think you just tell they were like there wasn't a hope for a comeback just because they had to put all their energy just into keeping that lead at 15 or whatever it was.
Yeah, like when we started making that comeback in the fourth quarter a bit, we got to 11 points. That's still a big 11-point difference. Like scoring for us right now is a scarcity, especially in that second half. It was a scarcity because no one could do it, especially except for like OG.
Yep.
Like by themselves, no one could create a shot for themselves. And so as much as I was like, okay, it's good we're coming back a bit, making this look a little better for us. I still was like, we can't do it.
No.
We just can't. We can't. If Fred and Pascal aren't doing it, we can't do it.
No.
That's how this team is built right now, especially with Scotty and Gary out. It's just how it is. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, man.
And also, we got to remember the Sixers, like, they're playing really well. Like, they're kind of doing...
Everything's going well for them.
Yeah, they're
making their shots. They're getting to the line. They're playing good defense.
Yeah, their secondary players are all stepping up. So, I mean...
Tobias Harris had a good defensive game yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like the Raptors are losing to an opponent. Like, it's not like these games are there for the taking and the Raptors like, oh, they just do this one thing, they'll win.
Yeah.
Like, you're losing to an opponent who's playing, like, the best basketball they've played in a while.
Yeah.
Since that Harden trade.
Yeah, exactly. Because remember when Harden first got traded there, and they had a really good stretch of games. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is it!" And then they just fell off a cliff there for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they look as good as ever. Those 2, and then you have Tyrese Maxey, who's, I mean, he already had a coming out year this year, but
wow, 23, 9, and 8.
Oh my God, yeah.
He for 11.
all year he's been coming out as this. He's been breaking out as this like actual like elite potentially elite player, and he's just even growing even more in this playoffs. He's doing crazy things, and when your top 3 guys are playing that well, and then everybody else is also playing at a high level, they're making their shots. I mean, there's not much we can do about it. And then just I know them playing well. Like me saying this doesn't mean they're not. We could stop them playing well, but like just when also the reffing is so soft, it's really hard to defend this team. Because it's just every time you're touching, especially when we don't have any depth, where we can't really replace guys. It's just tough. It's tough. I'm still optimistic though. I still think we can make some noise.
Yeah. Do you have some positives to take from this one?
Yeah. If the boxer doesn't say anything, but I really liked how Malachi Flynn played.
Yeah.
21
minutes. Wow.
Yeah, he came in and he did a job that we needed him to do. He wasn't making shots, but that wasn't what we needed him to do. We just needed him to come in and just be a plus player, which I felt he was. He was on the stats he actually was. He was +8, but he was bringing intense defense, which we needed on Maxey especially because The thing with Fred right now, like you mentioned earlier, is that Fred, after that whole knee thing, he's just a step slow in defense, and it's not a knock to him. It's just how it is. And guarding a guy like Maxey, who is showing to be one of the most explosive players in the league at this point, off that first step, it's a match made in hell for Fred.
And when you have limited rim protection behind him.
Yeah, and exactly. You don't have Rudy Gobert down there.
No.
You have a 6'8" Precious Achiuwa who he comes up and helps, but also Tyrese has that elite floater.
Yeah.
Looks Trae Young-esque. And then, or you can just dump it off to Embiid, and then it's a free throw.
Yeah.
And he's making his free throws. So I saw Malachi played well. Obviously, OG had a good game.
Chris Boucher, really nice game off the bench. He gave him a ton of energy in that little fake comeback in the second half.
Yeah, and that's when it seemed like we didn't have any energy at that point. So him coming in, that was pretty refreshing.
And it's 6 offensive rebounds, and Pascal had 4 as well. And that's the Raptors are going to need to win the possession battle to win the series or to win a game in the series. They actually did end up taking 20 more field goals than the Sixers, because they went to the line a lot.
Yeah.
But I just think that's so big to have those offensive rebounds from Chris, and I think I'm gonna assume Gary's probably out for Wednesday night. If not, he's probably gonna be very limited again.
Yeah.
And I would expect big minutes from Chris, and the Raptors just going all out on size and length, and just try to muck up the game that way.
I think what they have to do is they really just have to let the rest of the team beat them and just really go really hard at Joel.
Yeah.
And this is because, and you just have to throw bodies on, but also that brings up the whole foul trouble thing. But it was really, that's because Joel, they play through Joel. Yep. They play through his size, and I think you just really have to shut that down and just I wouldn't put money on that the Sixers second stringers will be as good all series.
Right. Yeah.
So I think you just got to bet on them having a bad game and take advantage of that and go at Joel.
Well, it's kind of like reminds me of last year with the Clippers played the Mavericks, and the Clippers won lost both games at home, and it was because the Mavericks, like, their role players were just shooting like crazy. And I remember Tyronn Lue said, I don't, if they asked if he was worried, he said, no, I'm not worried because I know those guys aren't going to do that again.
Yeah.
Basically, and they didn't do it in the Clippers on that series. So
yeah. So I think we just gotta at this point we just gotta hope for a bad game out of the rest of the cast there, and I mean I think I'm not gonna say I'm confident, but I still think there's a chance we win this series. I don't see why not. We were down 2-0 to Milwaukee. I know it's not the same team, but we'll be at home for the next 2 years. And Philly did their job. They won both games at home. That's what you're supposed to do. Now we got to do our job. We'll win both games at home.
Yeah.
And then you just go from there.
The only thing that scares me is that we right now we have 3 scores.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I was worried for the playoffs. Our scoring
already without these injuries.
And I think you're just gonna need a game where, all 3 of those guys are just just going for it. Those guys are gonna take all the shots next game. I think they almost did tonight.
I think we will have more energy at home though, because like you saw in this game, we didn't have any energy. I don't think that's gonna happen at home during a playoff game.
I hope not.
So,
yeah. I hope we. I mean, I just it's sometimes the Sixers are a talented team, and there are things there, right? I still think that Pascal can be a little more aggressive out of the gate, and I think Fred's shooting 5 for 16 from 3. You'd hope that can go up a little bit. OG was amazing, right? Career playoff high, 26 points, 10 for 14 shooting. He did everything you wanted to do. And then you need one of those performances, or maybe 2 of those performances out of everyone else, right? You need Precious to get hot from 3, Chris to kind of do what he did tonight, getting on the O boards, or a big night from Malachi from 3. You just need
we need something else.
Yeah,
we need something else.
But yeah, expect 45, 46 minutes, I think, from Fred and Pascal next game. They're already exhausted, you have to.
We'll have to.
Right, OG only played 38 in this one. He's gonna play a lot more next game. All right. Do you have anything else moving forward, or we're trying to try to keep these kind of shorter, right? So people can.
Yeah, just reviews. But I think, again, I just want to say, just reiterate, we're not out of this at this point.
No, must-win game though.
Yeah, you can't lose. You can't go down 3-0. But I think it's a good chance we win at home. I think we need the energy, and the fans will hopefully give it to us. I know. Don't keep your head down yet, fans. But if they lose this next game, I just don't want to get swept. I don't want to get swept. Win a game.
Win two. Make it a little competitive.
Make
right?
it interesting.
I guess like
Don't make it too easy on them.
this whole playoffs right has come inflated for the Raptors just with these injuries and stuff, right?
Yeah, it sucks, man. I really just wanted
yeah.
Scotty looked so good that first game too. I almost had a triple double.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, let's hope Gary's feeling a little better by then. Let's hope, Thad's thumb is healed. Even though Thad looked a little slow out there.
Well, we weren't going to win a championship this year anyway.
No. No.
Like it's fine.
And I think the playoffs are important, right? The front office to see, what we need going forward.
Yeah,
right?
that's the tough part about having these injuries. And I just really wanted to see. I want Scotty to get experience more than anything.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted. That's all I wanted, just Scotty to learn. But well.
All right.
All right.
Is that what we got?
Yeah, I think so.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So thank you guys for listening. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're doing these post games after every game this playoffs for the Raptors.
Next one will be out Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon at some point.
Yep. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and anywhere else you get your podcasts, make sure to leave us a rating and a review. And lastly, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We post clips there every week. And that's everything. I am your host, Elias Eldridge.
I'm Sam Kenny.
Peace out.